Hey, I'm here with Tony and Penny, also known as Mom and Dad Delisandro. And I thought they're coming up to visit or down to visit from Pennsylvania, that I'd have a little chat with them, talk about the history of me getting into real estate and influence of what Mom and Dad did when I was younger that allowed me to kind of come down this pathway. I remember I come out of college and was a teacher, high school teacher, and was coaching soccer. And I remember calling you and telling you I was going to get my real estate license and I was going into real estate. This was back in 98.
Right.
Do you remember your response?
What do you know about real estate? What do you know about that sort of thing?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I said, what do you know about roofs? What do you know about any of that sort of thing?
Yeah.
And, you didn't know a whole lot, but you learned a little bit over the years, I guess. But yeah.
Well, I do remember that you were not all that enthusiastic.
Right. I was not.
You didn't have any enthusiastic agreement about me making the transition into real estate.
No, I felt it was a bit of a risk, and I'm a bit risk averse.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you remember any feelings, Mom, around that? I know Dad's pretty vocal about his opinion about stuff.
But I think because you were involved with helping us redo some of the apartments and houses, I think maybe that also kind of fueled you a little bit to go ahead and try it on your own.
So let's talk about that, because I have some certain memories. Like I remember a house that you had owned on, was it North Mary Street or Mary Street in the city of Lancaster?
In North Mary, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I got often to visit some of these properties that you owned over the years that were rental properties. And then that home, was it a renovation flip?
Yep, that's what it was.
Yeah. And I got to do some of the grunt work. I call it grunt work. And I do remember that's where I learned to parallel park, because you had to parallel park in the city. And if you didn't know how to do that, that was a problem. So I got to help demo. There was a contractor there and I got to carry stuff out.
It was daily. Yeah.
I probably wasn't that helpful.
Well, we thought so. Hey, for a kid your age, it was fine. You did okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember complaining too much.
And those places were beautiful when they were done, but they were a wreck when we started.
Yeah, they were a wreck.
So I do feel like that was kind of the start of, the real estate venture into it, though I didn't know where it would lead me later.
Right.
Hauling stuff out, pulling things out of the wall, and noticing that old houses were insulated with old cheesecloths, newspapers.
Absolutely.
And you could see the dates on the newspapers would indicate when the house was built or renovated.
Primarily, yeah.
And then learning about these homes that had added on over the years. And it was intriguing to learn that they would actually use a different material, different color to show that, hey, we've added or we've moved up in income. So now we're able to add on to it.
Yeah. They did that a lot. But I think that some of the best fun was when we began doing the really heavy demo. You remember doing the opening up that wall on West Chestnut Street?
I remember West Chestnut Street, but don't remember the house in particular.
Yeah. Took down the whole wall, the outside wall, and it attached it to, there was an attached dish to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we opened that up, and we took down the wall, we put an I-beam in, and that was fun.
Well,
and scary.
So, if you know what you're doing, I guess it's not that scary, right?
But well, sometimes you learn on the job.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yes.
We did a lot of that.
So you were an amateur architect.
Amateur.
And still am.
Real amateur.
Not your training. You were business administration, but you loved architecture, and your creativity certainly came out in the homes, sketching out, putting the concept ideas out, and
that's probably one of my favorite part of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the
And he
design
still
work, yeah.
enjoys doing that.
Yeah.
We'll go down the street and I was like, oh, that window's wrong. We should have done this. Or they should have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what led me to think about the influence of what I did growing up when you owned several homes that were rental properties
Rentals.
that you owned in partnership. And then we got into redoing those houses,
Yeah.
which I carried on some of those things when Lori and I did some renovation flips.
Right.
But I did think about the whole real estate side of it. We didn't move very much when.
No.
Actually, we didn't move it at all. At all. It was after I went off to college, and then you moved into a couple of different places.
No, we stayed. We didn't leave the farm until 2000.
Yes. So I was already moved.
You were gone.
Yep. Out of college.
Right.
Been teaching for a few years and had already started real estate at that time.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I was thinking of that old stone farm property with 10 acres and the pond. Sold for what, $500,000?
$500,000, yeah.
And that home, so that's Lancaster, Pennsylvania, in a town called Paradise, which when I was a kid, it didn't feel like paradise. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
But now going back and picturing that farm,
beautiful,
the long driveway with all the rhododendrons, the pond,
the 2-story stone barn.
Well, that was four stories?
Three stories.
And it was a German barn, so you could drive up 3 different places. Bank barn. And that was a lot lot of adventure.
Yes. A lot of animals.
A lot of animals.
A
lot of dogs.
Racing some animals.
Sometimes I tell people I grew up on a farm and they don't believe me.
Oh, yes, he did.
And I wanted to just have this kind of walk down memory lane thinking about, I know there was some influence of real estate in my life.
Yeah.
And certainly the teaching aspect of it, Mom taught over 35 years. So I knew that was the influence of why I originally gone into teaching. And then, thinking about the real estate and how 24 years of doing this now. You realize it's 24 years?
24 years.
Doing real estate, that it started somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
you could see the results from when you would buy the property to when you finally fixed it up and then sold it to a good family.
And also helping clients, many of them in your situation, your age, where now you've moved several times to downsize into one level living, helping clients kind of walk them through what it is like to get everything moved, get the house prepared for market, and then to market it out there to the young buyers now who are moving into those bigger homes with lots of steps.
Yep.
So
not for me.
Well, thank you for all the influence, the training, and the tough love sometimes when I was young.
Yep.
I didn't need any of that tough love, but you wanted to give it to me.
Yeah. You needed it anyway, so in spite of it.
In there. So thanks for sitting down and walking down this road with me.
Fun.
Yeah, right. And I'll never forget us at the airport and seeing you for the first time in person.
Yeah.
That was so special. It was just instant love.
Yep.
Thank you, Mom. So that was the whole adoption story of how I got here too.
Yep.
That's another chapter. So
that's a whole There's several chapters in this book.
Oh, yes. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us.